I am super excited about this week's video. We are making a scary pumpkin. Okay, for this video we're going to be using all SculptCrete, and I used about 12 pounds on this project. And I've mixed it here into about a peanut butter consistency, and I'm spreading it on, and then I'm putting this fiberglass mesh on that is meant for sheetrock work, and it adds just a ton of strength to our project, so that's why I use it. I'm just mixing up small batches and then covering the whole ball, and we're going to do this side and then let it dry overnight or harden overnight, which you see here, and then we're just going to sculpt right up to that seam, adding that fiberglass tape as we go, again just to make it super strong substrate for our top layer. Now this is the next day, and we're putting on the clay consistency, and this is 3 parts material to 1 part water. And again, I'm just doing in small batches and then mixing it up and kneading it like dough, and then applying it to that previous substrate that I made earlier. So, and then we're just sculpting, and you want to sculpt in small portions. If you're new, do it in smaller, even smaller than what I did here, as you're going to want time to work with it. You do have a limited time, 45 minutes on average, depending on the temperature and humidity and everything. So you can take water like you're seeing me do here and smooth out areas. It's just a great way to work the product. You can overwater it, so you just let it set a little bit more and then you can work it some more. I'm adding a little bit of material here to the eyebrows to define them a little bit and give it a little bit more scary look. And I'm doing that, and this has been setting for about, I don't know, 20-30 minutes on the layer you see underneath that. So it's partially set. Adding some crown on the nose here. And again, small batches. Think in small batches, and building in layers is what we want to do. So I didn't go into a lot of detail or any detail on mixing this product. In this video, it is pretty simple to mix. It's 3 parts SculptCrete to 1 part water to get to this clay consistency, and then you knead it like dough. I didn't do that in this video, as I'm going to be doing a very specific video here in the near future on how to mix SculptCrete and its different consistencies and uses. So look for that video to come out here in the near future. And I'm just sculpting the teeth here using some different sculpting tools. You'll settle into a handful of sculpting tools, but it's nice to have a good range of tools to choose from, because you might find different uses. So this is a super fun product, guys, to use. I know it's my product, and I'm telling you that so you'll buy it, but it is actually really fun to use and to create stuff. So I hope you jump on in. And this is kind of an intermediate project. It wasn't real hard for me, but it took a little bit of thinking and trying to figure out how to do it. Now this is the next day. Everything's been hardened overnight, and we're deflating that ball. And it took me a few minutes to deflate it, and then you can just pull it right out of that hole we left in the bottom. And this is a file, a diamond file, and you can find those in your big box stores, as they're used for sharpening scissors and things. Or maybe I'll leave a description or a link in the description for you. Okay, so I'm making the stem now, and this is made out of tin foil. I didn't put any wire in it, and then I glued it on with hot glue. It was rigid enough, I didn't have to worry about it. And then yeah, applying my SculptCrete right over to the top of it. And the stem turned out super cool. It was actually my favorite part of doing the pumpkin, because it was fairly easy and it turned out great, I think. So yeah. And take a brush and water and just clean up some of those hard edges. Now time to paint. I'm using a gesso, and I ended up mixing gesso with some regular craft paint just to give it a little extra color, with some orange and yellow in there to kind of make it an off-white rather than a super white. And the stem, I just went flat, just a flat black, because we're going to clear coat it here in a minute. I thinned out some black and made a bunch of flick marks on it, just for effect. Now this, I'm using craft paint in an airbrush, and the easiest way to get the consistency that you want is about 50% windshield washer fluid to 50% or 60% even of craft paint, and then I would strain it as I let my craft paint sit long enough to where it gets these little clots or whatever you want to call boogers, which will clog up your air gun. So strain them with a paint strainer, and then you'll have a lot less problem. But yeah, this is one of my favorite things to do, is to paint the project, and an airbrush is a super fun way of doing it, as you can make it look really cool with airbrushes. So I'm just going over all of those cracks, or I'm not even sure what they're called on pumpkins. Probably a specific name. I don't know what it is. So I'm just painting those with the orange, giving it a real neat look. And I do come back later and paint the stem by hand with a brush, because I got overspray on it. Now this is the same craft paint thinned out with washer fluid here, and then I'm using it to accent even more. So you can do as much or a little as you want. I think the black really made it pop, so I really gave it kind of a dark look too, which is really cool. So once we get it painted, then we'll do a clear coat. This is what I'm using. This is a product that I sell on the website and on Amazon, and then it's just a cheap sprayer, and I'll leave a link in the description for that as well. And there you have it, all done up. I threw a incense cone in there with some LED lights. Looks super cool. Anyway, I hope you jump right in and make one of these pumpkins. It's a super fun project. It wasn't too hard. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the future videos, and share it with your friends if you would. Until next time, thanks for watching.